Shivaji Maharaj was the only Indian ruler who had the foresight to see the ulterior motives of the foreigners and their ways of infiltration. He built up strategies to arrest their advances in India. He built a strong naval force, he constructed sea forts, he levied octroi on the British salt trade, he adopted very strong policies against the foreigners, and he fiercely fought them. The Portuguese had their fort at Diu, Daman, Sanjan, Atori, Vasai, Karanja, Chol, etc. Because of these forts, the region of Bardesh was well protected. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj first came in contact with the Portuguese when he established his control on Kalyan and Bhiwandi. Shivaji Maharaj decided to build a strong Maratha navy. In fact, in the beginning, the Portuguese had extended technological help for shipbuilding to the Marathas. However, later the Portuguese governor withdrew this help. The Portuguese promptly sided with the Siddhis when the Marathas wanted to attack Janjira. Both the Portuguese and the Marathas, in matters of diplomatic relations, adopted policies to suit the situation. In 1665, the Portuguese stopped 13 ships of the Marathas while they were passing by the ports on the Karnataka coast. However, they soon released those ships as they were scared of the powerful Maratha navy. In 1666, while the fort of Fonda, ruled by Adil Shah, was under siege by the Marathas, the Portuguese supplied ammunition to the Adil Shahi Kiledar. On the other hand, they let Shivaji Maharaj cross through their territory when he was returning after the sack of Surat. When Mirza Raje Jai Singh had attacked Swarajya, the Portuguese extended support to the Marathas. The Portuguese established a factory at Dabhol by obtaining a sanction from Shivaji Maharaj. At the same time, the local people were unhappy because of the Portuguese laws which were favorable for religious conversions. Therefore, in 1667, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj decided to attack the region of Bardesh. People of Bardesh welcomed him wholeheartedly. Again, when the region of Dandarajpuri under the Siddhi rule was under Maratha siege, the Portuguese supplied war provisions and ammunition to the Siddhis. During the Adil Shahi Sultanate versus Maratha conflict, the Portuguese, while acting neutral, were actually helping Adil Shah. Prior to that, Gonzalo Martes, the Portuguese emissary, had met Shivaji Maharaj and both agreed to avoid any future conflict between them. Shivaji Maharaj, with an intention of uprooting the Portuguese rule, started sending small groups of his men to Goa. It was decided that once their number was enough in Goa, they would strike a revolt against the Portuguese rule. The Portuguese viceroy somehow became aware of the plan. Hence, it failed. A treaty was signed between the Portuguese and the Marathas on the 10th of February 1670. According to this treaty, if either of them plundered the other's ships, then the victim party would be properly compensated. All those concessions given to the Mughal ships in transit would also be given to the Maratha ships. No help was to be extended to the Siddhis against the Marathas, and no forts were to be built in the territory of Ramnagar. There was a dispute about the issue of collecting Chauthai between the Portuguese and the Marathas, which remained unsolved till the end. To resolve this issue, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj had appointed Pitambar Shenavi and Jivaji as mediators. However, they were not very successful in their negotiations. In 1679, the Portuguese secretly helped the British in their conflict with the Marathas for the Kandheri-Undheri Islands. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj had determined to humble the Portuguese. There were many reasons for it, such as the Portuguese opposing the construction work by the Marathas in Chol, forcing their subjects in Goa for religious conversion, and pillaging of the trading ships. The Marathas defeated the Portuguese during the siege of the Fonda fort. The Maratha army gathered at Fonda in 1680. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj himself was to lead the campaign. but for some reasons it could not happen. The panic which was felt by the Portuguese was because of the warfare skills of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. They were happy when he passed away in 1680. The Portuguese were in alliance with Aurangzeb, the Mughal emperor, against Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj. Therefore, the Marathas decided to act against the Portuguese. Hence, Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj attacked Revadanda. The Portuguese reacted by putting the fort of Fonda under siege. The Maratha army successfully broke through the siege and attacked Goa. Yasaji Kank, the chief of the Maratha infantry and a very close associate of Shivaji Maharaj, fought with great valor. The Portuguese governor was injured on the battlefield. He had to beat a hasty retreat. Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj chased the Portuguese army, which got trapped in a deadlock. However, the news of Aurangzeb's attack on South Konkan was received in the Maratha camp. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj and his army, who were on the verge of conquering Goa, had to leave halfway and rush to fight the Mughals. The conflict between the Marathas and the Portuguese was renewed during the reign of Chhatrapati Shahu Maharaj. A treaty was signed between the Marathas and Hussain Ali Sayyid, the chief representative of the Mughals in the south, which gave the right of collecting Chauthai to the Marathas from the Kalyan Bhivandi region. Accordingly, they asked the Portuguese to make the payment. However, the Portuguese governor of Vasai refused to pay. To counter the Marathas, the Portuguese established outposts in Vasai, Asheri, Tarapur, Kelwe, Mahim, Daman, and Chol. They also increased the intensity of their atrocities on the local people. Chimaji Appa, the younger brother of Peshwa Bajirao I, was assigned the responsibility of the campaign against the Portuguese. At the onset of the campaign, Chimaji Appa took over the fort at Thane. In March 1737, the Maratha army conquered the Shasti island. On another front, Shankaraji Phadke entered Vasai island. However, taking over Vasai was not enough to establish a permanent control over the Portuguese territory until there was a complete victory over the fort of Vasai. The Marathas fought valiantly, but their naval force was not strong enough. The Maratha siege of the Vasai fort continued for 2 years, and in the end, the Marathas defeated the Portuguese. It was obvious for the Dutch to have a contact with the Maratha rule when they established a factory in Bengurla. This factory was established in 1649 and the Dutch trade had flourished there. However, the trade was adversely affected when Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj attacked Kudal. In 1665, the Mughal governor of Surat asked for help from the Dutch for destroying the Maratha naval force. However, the Dutch offered no help. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj had allowed them to build a factory at Dabhol, but for some reasons it never functioned. The political relations between the Dutch and the Marathas kept changing to suit the need of the time. The Dutch expected help from the Marathas to evacuate the British from Mumbai. The Marathas did not harm the Dutch factory when they ransacked Surat for the second time. Also, during the Karnataka campaign, the Marathas ensured the safety of the Dutch factory and also issued them trading permits. For these favors, the Dutch paid tributes to Shivaji Maharaj. The Dutch factories at Porto Nova and Devanapattinam were left unharmed by Shivaji Maharaj. In 1668, the French established their factory at Rajapur by seeking permission from Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. In return, they supplied ammunition to Swarajya. The Marathas, remaining true to their friendly relations with the French, left the French factory unharmed during their second attack at Surat. In return, the French paid a big tribute to them. In 1677, François Martin, the Governor-General of Pondicherry, obtained permission for opening a factory there. In return, the Marathas gave them an assurance of safety. de Boigny, a French military trainer, helped to establish a well-equipped Maratha-trained army. And this trained army helped Mahatma Shinde to establish Maratha power in North India. It also helped him to keep the British under control. The last 4 slides are self-explanatory and they list the relations between the Marathas and the British, the Marathas and the Siddhis, and the Marathas and the Afghans, leading up to the Third Battle of Panipat when the Maratha Empire, as we know of it, came to an end.